Hello, I'm Diana Randall, and today I'm going to be talking about red team automation. We're going to start with traditional red teaming challenges. So, first, full coverage versus stealth. Traditional red teaming requires full vulnerability scans, contrasting with the stealthy approach of real attackers. Real attackers would stay in the reconnaissance phase for several months until they acquire enough information to make a stealthy attack. While most tests are very abrupt and obvious to make sure to show up on the radar and be remediated. Also, scope limitations. We're bound by scope. Traditional tests might overlook critical attack vectors. If we have no previous knowledge or preparation of a certain attack, we might not detect it. And then gray box approach. So the red and blue team generally know the IP addresses and in the schedules of the 9 to 5 limit how real the attacks can be. So traditional red teaming relies on human experts. There's predicted to be a 35% increase in number of jobs in the next 10 years for red teaming. And this is with 0% unemployment in all of cybersecurity. And then annually, there is a 300% increase in annual cyber attacks. And over 10 years, that can be an exponential increase. So, automating. So, one solution to this large human demand that we aren't meeting is automating our red team processes with CART, Continuous Automated Red Teaming. This focuses on automation to streamline testing processes and frees human experts up from repetitive tasks to do more meaningful work. So, this breaks down into about 5 categories of what CART can do. Credential harvesting, enumeration, access techniques, escalation attacks, and scope definition. So, credential harvesting is a simulation of techniques to gather authentication credentials from users or systems within the target environment. Enumeration involves discovering and cataloging information about target systems, networks, and assets. Access techniques involves automated methods and tactics used to gain unauthorized access to target systems, networks, or data. So, talking more about the CART operations, credential harvesting includes automated phishing simulations, credential spraying attacks, brute force, password guessing, or exploiting vulnerabilities to obtain passwords and other sensitive information. Enumeration includes automated scanning for open ports, identifying services running on those ports, enumerating user accounts, groups, and permissions, and gathering other relevant information for planning and executing simulated attacks. Access techniques includes automated exploitation of known vulnerabilities, misconfigurations, or weak authentication mechanisms to establish initial access, and escalation attacks includes automated simulation of techniques to escalate privileges or levels of access within the target environment. Scope definition is defining the parameters and objectives of the automated red teaming exercise. So, effectiveness of automating red team activities. So, I came up with 6 benefits. So, this can promote the identification of choke points for targeted remediation. This can promote proactive attack path discovery, sustained engagement with evolving IT environments, along with cost-effective scalability. This is complementary to human expertise, and this results in comprehensive reports with mitigation recommendations. Control over target assets. Escalation attacks includes automated exploitation of privilege, escalation vulnerabilities, abuse of trust, relationships, or automated lateral movement to compromise additional systems and escalate privileges. Scope definition tackles specifying the target systems, networks, and assets to be assessed, as well as any constraints, rules of engagement, or compliance requirements that need to be considered during the automated simulation. We're going to look at traditional red teaming versus automated red teaming in a couple different categories: evaluations, vulnerabilities, execution, reports, adaptation, and costs. So traditional red teaming has one-off evaluations. The red team tries to break into the system in typically a sprint, and then they give their report after that, while automated red teaming is continuous simulations. Vulnerabilities. So traditional red teaming, you typically are looking for a set list of vulnerabilities, while automated red teaming involves chaining vulnerabilities. Execution, traditional red teaming, you have to hire the the red team members, and then you also have to assign them to the project. So that's manual, while automated red teaming is continuous. So, and then reports, traditional red teaming, people usually produce general vulnerability reports. These are limited by human error and that. And then automated red teaming provides a detailed attack path documentation without having to, that's uniform and consistent with its other responses, so it doesn't have that added human error or bias. And then adaptation. So traditional red teaming, there's limited adaptation because your employees need to learn about these new attack vectors and techniques to employ them, while the automated red teaming will learn from the cloud and learn from its program. So the costs are, traditional red teaming is higher cost because you do have actual employees doing the testing, while automated red teaming is scalable and cost effective. So here's a look at some of the current tools and their features. So I picked the top four. So let's start with IBM Randori Attack Surface Management. This includes security validation, threat exposure management, risk management. Does not include remediation or simulation capabilities, while the other three do include these simulation capabilities. Remediation is touch and go, half included, half don't, and risk management is generally included. PICUS is the complete security validation platform and the Attack IQ platform have covered the most categories out of any of these tools, so I would recommend those the most. And then we are going to look at the IBM Security Randori demo because that's all I could find for free.
IBM Security Randori's offensive security platform is the foundation for effective exposure management programs. Let's explore how you can use continuous discovery to eliminate visibility gaps, up-level your vulnerability management prioritization, and assess your mitigations. Continuous assessments help you uncover unknown assets, which are often called shadow IT. Through bidirectional API integrations, you can feed the assessment results into your existing vulnerability management solution to build a more comprehensive asset inventory. Actively monitoring those previously unmanaged assets reduces the likelihood of an external data breach. Randori's validation feature keeps you informed about critical CVEs. Asset versions and contextual details help you assess vulnerabilities and the risk they pose. You can reduce the number of potential entry points for attackers by prioritizing risks based on impact, likelihood, and organizational relevance. By using risk-based prioritization to reduce the number of critical CVEs in your mitigation queue, you can finally address low and medium-level risks that would otherwise be considered accepted risk. The key to effective exposure management is acknowledging that exposure extends beyond vulnerabilities alone. For example, this target is an exposed login page. While a login page may not have an applicable CVE, an adversary could use it to run a brute force attack into your organization. You can authorize and scope this target to be included in custom attack simulations and automated runbooks for continuous security validation. To test your mitigation strategy, you can conduct red team assessments, particularly on assets with a high-risk profile. Detailed after-action reports can help you build a more resilient security posture. To discover how IBM Security Randori can be the foundation of an effective continuous threat exposure management program, sign up for your personalized attack surface assessment.
So that was IBM Randori. So that's a pretty efficient tool that you could use for automated red teaming. So what we have learned is with traditional red teaming, we run into the challenges of coverage, scope, and adaptability. And then with automation through continuous automated red teaming, this offers scalability, precision, and cost effectiveness. And then so there's going to be continuous evolution of these red teaming tools, and this ensures that our team will stay the most updated if we adopt this. So thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.